I'm Jason. I used to be a computer science student who thought he was smarter than everyone else. The night the police knocked on my door, I was sitting in front of my laptop, still convinced they had the wrong guy. I remember staring at the screen, my hands frozen on the keyboard, thinking, there's no way they traced me. But they did, and everything I thought I controlled ended right there. Before that night, my life was simple. I wasn't some criminal mastermind, at least that's what I told myself. I was just a quiet student who spent most of his time in his room, coding, testing things, breaking things, then fixing them again. It actually started as curiosity. In my second year at university, I got into cybersecurity forums. At first, I was just reading, watching people talk about vulnerabilities, exploits, and ways systems could fail. It felt like solving puzzles, and I've always liked puzzles. One day, I tried it myself. It was something small, a basic login bypass on a test site, nothing serious. When it worked, I just sat there smiling. It felt like I had figured out a secret that most people couldn't see. That feeling, it stayed with me. After that, I kept going. I told myself I was learning, that I was just exploring. I wasn't hurting anyone. That's how I justified it in my head. Every step felt harmless at first. Then I moved from test sites to real ones. I still remember the first time I accessed a company database. My heart was racing so fast I could actually hear it. I thought I'd get caught instantly, but nothing happened. No alarms, no messages, nothing. Just silence. And that silence gave me confidence. I started spending nights doing this. While other students were sleeping or going out, I was sitting in the dark, staring at lines of code, digging deeper into systems I wasn't supposed to touch. At some point, it stopped being about curiosity. It became about control. I liked knowing I could get in and out without anyone noticing. It made me feel powerful in a strange way, like I was invisible. Then someone messaged me on one of those forums. They had seen something I posted anonymously, a small proof of what I could do. They asked if I could help them get certain financial data. At first, I ignored it. It didn't feel right. But I didn't block them either. A few days later, they came back with an offer. Money. That's when things started to shift. I remember sitting there, staring at that message for a long time. I kept telling myself I wouldn't do it, that it wasn't who I was. But then another thought came in. It's just data, no one will even notice. And honestly, I wanted to see if I could do it. So I said yes. The first job took me almost a week. I was careful, slow, double-checking everything. When I finally got what they asked for and sent it, I felt this mix of fear and excitement. Then the payment came through. Real money. That moment changed something inside me. After that, it got easier to say yes. I stopped thinking too much about right or wrong. I focused on not getting caught. I upgraded my tools, covered my tracks better, learned how to stay hidden. Months turned into years. I wasn't just a student anymore. I was living a double life. During the day, I attended classes, submitted assignments, acted normal. At night, I was inside systems I had no business being in, pulling out information that didn't belong to me. And the worst part? Nothing bad happened. No warnings, no close calls, no consequences. It made me believe I was untouchable. Sometimes, late at night, I'd pause and think, what if this all catches up to me? But then I'd shake it off, because every time I walked away clean, my confidence grew stronger than that fear. I even started to feel like I was smarter than the people trying to protect those systems, like I was always one step ahead. Looking back now, that was the biggest lie I ever believed, because while I thought I was invisible, I was already leaving a trail, and I just didn't know it yet.
The truth is, nothing catches up to you all at once. It builds quietly in the background while you're busy believing you're in control. For me, it started with small mistakes. Not obvious ones, just tiny things I didn't think mattered. Reusing a setup one time because I was tired. Logging in a few seconds longer than usual. trusting that the system I was in didn't log as much as it actually did. At the time, it all felt insignificant, but those small things, they added up. I didn't see it, but someone else did. Months before my arrest, investigators had already started connecting pieces, patterns in access times, similar methods, repeated entry points. Things I thought were random weren't random at all. And still, I kept going. I remember one night clearly. I had just finished pulling data from a financial system, and for some reason, I paused. I just sat there, staring at the screen. It felt different. Not fear exactly, just a strange heaviness, like something wasn't right. I even closed my laptop early that night, which I almost never did. I told myself I was just tired, but maybe, deep down, I knew something was off. A few weeks later, it happened. It was late evening. I was in my room, same as always, laptop open, half focused on what I was doing. Then I heard a knock on the door. At first, I ignored it. I thought maybe it was a neighbor or someone else in the building. Then it came again, louder this time. I got up, a little annoyed more than anything, and walked to the door. I didn't feel fear yet, not even a little. I opened it, and everything changed in a second. There were officers standing right in front of me. I still remember how calm they looked. One of them said my name, clearly, like there was no doubt. That's when it hit me. Not panic, not immediately, just this sudden drop in my chest, like all the noise in my head stopped at once. I stepped back without even realizing it, and they walked in. They already knew where to look. My laptop, my desk, my external drives, everything. I didn't argue. I didn't try to run, because in that moment, I knew it was over. They didn't need me to explain anything. They already had enough. Later, during questioning, they showed me parts of what they had tracked, logs, timestamps, connections, things I didn't even know were being recorded. That's when I realized how wrong I had been. I wasn't invisible. I was just delayed. The trial didn't take long. There was too much evidence. I didn't try to fight it in the end. I didn't even have the energy to pretend anymore. Hearing the sentence was strange. I thought I'd feel something big, fear, anger, regret all at once, but it was quieter than that. Just this heavy realization that I had done this to myself. Prison is a different kind of silence. You have time, too much time, and there's nothing to distract you from your own thoughts. In those first weeks, I kept replaying everything in my head, every decision, every moment where I could have stopped, but didn't. I used to think being smart meant knowing how to get away with things. Now I see it differently. Real intelligence would have been knowing when to stop. There were nights I couldn't sleep, not because of the place, but because of the weight of it all. The people I affected, the trust I broke, the life I threw away for something that didn't even last. I started praying quietly during that time, not for a way out, just for some kind of peace inside. And slowly, I started accepting things. I'm not the same person I was back then. I don't see myself as untouchable anymore. If anything, I see how fragile everything really is. One wrong path, taken too far, can undo years of your life. If you're watching this and you're into the same world I was, just be careful with what you tell yourself, because I kept saying, it's harmless, I'm in control, nothing will happen, until something did, and by then, it was already too late.